In this video, me and my brother are turning this old above ground pool into a luxury dream pool. And from start to finish, this took nearly 4 months. I hope you guys enjoy. This video all started when we found this gigantic old pool on Facebook for $500. The catch? We had to take it apart ourselves. Dude, we couldn't pass this up. But it had no leaks, and the pump worked.
That's a pool. I'm not moving that again without a forklift.
But that was the easy part. The hard part is going to be setting the pool on this hill in my backyard.
All right, we're gonna turn this ugly hill into something awesome.
Our goal with this hill is to build a shelf to set the pool on. You can see there's already kind of a flat spot, but in the front and in the back corners it dips off. So we're going to have to get more dirt from the bottom of the hill to fill in those areas. And while Colby was doing that, I was on the excavator getting dirt from the front of the hill too. And you can see once we got enough dirt, we could start making the flat spot that the pool is going to sit on. You can see that the deeper we go, the bigger the flat spot will get. So that's exactly what we did. And we cut into the front of the hill more. This ended up giving us a pretty huge flat spot. And just to remind you, this is what the hill looked like this morning.
Done. Ha!
You might think this pad's ready for a pool, but not quite. You see all that loose dirt on the hill right there? Well, all that's going to wash away eventually with rain, so there has to be something on top of it to stabilize it and slow the water down.
Rocks. Also rocks.
Because both of the hills were so big, those 2 dump truck loads weren't actually going to cover all of it. So to save money, I covered the first half of the big hill with logs and old tree stumps. That way I only needed to cover half of it in rock, which cost $150 per load. This hillside took quite a while to do, and that entire 20,000 pound truckload didn't even cover the whole thing, but it was enough to get us by. Then it was off to the next hill. By the time we were done with the rock, from far away, the pad looked pretty good. But if you look up close, there's tons of holes and uneven spots that we really couldn't set the pool on top of. So our solution was to build a perfectly level rectangle with wood that we would fill with dirt and gravel. It was also 100 degrees outside, so we had to keep ourselves soaked with water.
Alright. Okay.
Including the cameras.
Alright, your turn. Down. That's it.
Alright. Now the top of that board is exactly the same height as the top of that board. After we filled in all the low spots and then scraped up all the high spots.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
We were ready to fill the entire thing with gravel. We did this where we could take a flat board and scrape the top of it, making it perfectly flat, down to the 1/4 inch. We really took our time here and did it twice. In this clip you can really see how we wiggle and slide the board to make it perfectly smooth. Now, we have to go around and tamp the entire thing, compact it really good, and then do the whole thing over again. Then we'll be done. Yes, we literally tamped every single square inch of this entire pad, and then we put gravel down again. Soon, there'll be 100,000 pounds of water above me. Because we don't want any holes in the liner, it's got to sit on something soft and smooth, so we went out to the store and bought a bunch of foam for it to sit on. Also, I find it hilarious how hard I'm trying to catch these sheets. With all of them down there, we laid out a rectangle big enough for our liner to sit on. Then we used duct tape on the seams to make it all one piece where we could move it in the perfect spot. Also, it's like the third day in a row where it's 100 degrees. You can see my skin is shiny. Anyway, after cooling myself and the camera off because they kept on overheating, we moved the giant pad of foam in the perfect spot where we could get out our beautiful pool to put down. Okay, it's definitely not beautiful. Not yet. The funny thing is, you guys probably have no idea, it's already been about 2 months since we bought this pool, and it's just been sitting outside in the sun since. So when we opened it up, it smelled horrible. It's time to put together a pool.
A nasty pool.
Now I'm gonna play some cool, hip music where you guys can watch us put together this pool that's barely ever been used. Absolutely mint condition. And I'm totally not having regrets about buying this pool on Facebook used or anything. I'm in the pool and it is very, very dirty. Luckily we have a pressure washer. But you know, normally these pools are $2,000, so it was nice to get $1,500 off and totally worth cleaning it with the pressure washer. It was actually extremely satisfying seeing this thing get cleaned. We just had a water pump at the very end of the pool, and we kept on sweeping all the dirty water towards that, and eventually it pumped most of it out. And check out how nice this wall cleaned up. Slowly but surely, it's looking less and less like a pond, guys. And by the next morning, we pretty much got all the dirt out. Look how good the pool looks now. You might think that this is awesome and we're finally not hot, but that's where you'd be wrong. This water is like hot bath water. It's gross and hot. After that, we threw the hose in there and just let it fill up overnight. This pool holds like 15,000 gallons, so it takes about 30 hours to fill up with a garden hose.
Time to install the filter. This thing's so heavy, by the way, because it's just full of sand.
Ha! You look ridiculous, dude.
It's heavy.
Dude. It's a working pool. Here you go, dude. Woo! Woo! And up until this point, everything was going great. Well, until the pool got all the way filled up. Here's another angle in case you missed it. The back wall gave out, and the next morning when we woke up, we went outside to find all the legs crushed. I honestly have no idea how this wall didn't completely give way. But you can plainly see that every single leg was completely folded over the base. And at first we were pretty confused as to why this happened, but when we looked a little closer, we found some clues. After quickly draining the pool, we looked really closely at the leg in the middle that gave out first.
It's all corroded from the salt water.
Yep, underneath the paint, it's corroded.
And you can see that there's rust, a lot of it. Which makes sense because this pool's several years old and it used to be a saltwater pool. Our next clue as to what happened was every single leg caved in except for the one on the very end that had 4 2x4s on the bottom of it. All the rest had 3. Luckily these pools are extremely popular, so we found another one on Facebook that wasn't a saltwater pool where we could use its legs to replace our broken ones. Look how nice and shiny these are.
That was a little heavier than I thought it was gonna be.
After we replaced all the broken legs, we went around the entire pool and added one more block to each leg. Definitely adding some support.
Absolutely.
All right, let's fill this up again. With the pool finally up, our total cost for everything was around $1,600. That includes the new legs we just bought. But as you can see, it's nowhere near what anyone would call a luxury pool. Now we need a deck, which is also the most expensive part of the entire build.
You're gonna pay for wood one of two ways. Money or elbow grease.
For the deck, there's two types of boards we need. Framing lumber, which is the skeleton of the deck and holds everything up, and then decking boards, which go on top. For the frame, we need 140 16-foot 2x6s. At Lowe's, that roughly equates to $2,500. But after looking on Facebook and driving an hour and a half, we got those same boards used for $950 a piece, meaning we only paid $1,300.
So the general plan for this deck is pretty awesome. It'll end up being almost 60 feet long.
If you look closely, you'll notice that those posts are not 4x4s. They're actually landscaping timbers, and to do the entire deck, we needed 30 of them, which we paid $150 for. But if they are typical 4x4s, we would have paid $360 for them.
Look at that. Now just 3 more sides to go. Usually we're building a house on top of this, so.
Yeah, that's true. This side of the pool was done exactly the same way as the first. The only difference was it was half the length at 8 feet. And with both ends of the pool done, we're going to be able to connect them with really long skinny decks on the sides.
You have a plan yet?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see?
got 3
See? He's got plans. He's got 3 plans.
Each one's better than the last.
To make the side perfectly straight, we went ahead and pulled a line against the pool.
You can see the pool is a little bit curved in, but we're gonna hide that later in the video.
Then we drilled holes into the ground on either side of the pool where we could set our posts, and then pull a line in between those. Then we just drilled the holes for the rest of the posts, and made a big old beam going across the whole pool. Once we got our sides up, we pulled a line in between those, and then drilled holes through the rock where we could set posts on the hill, which was pretty difficult. Once those posts were in, we capped them all off with 2x6s going the entire way down the deck.
Just 2 hot bros building deck.
Real hot.
Then Colby and I grabbed our giant pile of 16-foot boards and cut them in half to make enough joists to go along this whole side of the deck.
I am blown away by how cool that pool's starting to look. I didn't think above ground pools could look this good, but it's gonna be insane. It's actually gonna be a luxury pool.
All right, so we have one side left on the deck, and I don't know how fried your attention spans are, but I'm gonna show you because this was really sketchy, and I think it's pretty interesting, to say the least. At first, everything was the exact same as the other side. We just drilled a bunch of holes and made a beam that went across the whole pool for the joists to rest on. But it all changed when we had to do the other side.
You can see this last little bit of overhang on this side goes pretty far down. Luckily, we have the excavator where I could stand on the bucket.
This side was so high off the ground, we had to buy 16-foot 4x4s, which did cost a lot. The reason they had to be so long was because of all the fill dirt. When we made our flat spot on the hill, some of the lower areas were built up about 3 feet, and you can't set a post in loose fill dirt because it'll just sink. So we dug down to the real dirt and then drilled a hole. But that's not all we did either. After I set the post in the hole, I pressed it in with the excavator. Every single post we installed either got pounded in with a sledgehammer or pressed with the excavator, and this one got both. The dirt in this hole was so soft, we pushed it down 2 feet. Then I whacked it really good with the sledgehammer. But after all the posts were in and concreted in place, we could start putting up our joists. Well, this deck looks absolutely unbelievable, better than I ever thought it would, but it's a little shaky. So we went under the deck and added tons and tons of bracing everywhere.
This board's going everywhere. Angles everywhere.
And by the time we were done, This deck didn't move an inch.
No shaking, dude. No shaking.
By the way, throughout this video, off camera, we have been battling the leaves around here, trying to keep the pool clean, and it's not even fall. So luckily, Aper sponsored this video and sent me their Surfer S2. This is a robot that skims the surface of the pool.
Whoa, little props.
Props.
That's so cool. Isn't that cool?
Because no matter how hard we tried, every single night there would be more leaves and bugs that got into the pool. The Surfer S2 literally swims around and collects all of this stuff with a 150 micron filter, so it even picks up sawdust.
Oh, look at it swimming. Oh, it got a leaf. It got a leaf.
It just got its first one.
Meanwhile, it was finally time to cover the deck. We ended up buying 180 16-foot decking boards. This was a little less than $2,500.
Guys, it's been 30 minutes. Look at that pool. That robot's killing it.
Not only does the Surfer S2 get everything from leaves, bugs, and even sawdust off the surface, it has a 35-hour battery life. And if that wasn't cool enough, it also has a solar panel on the top, so it's pretty much always charging when it's cleaning.
Does it sense the wall?
It might.
And to answer my own question, yes, it does. It has 2 sensors on the front, so it can avoid obstacles and clean way more effectively. The deck we're putting down is looking awesome, but also look at the pool in the background, how clean it's getting.
You guys like how we joined these boards right here? Doesn't it look nice?
Yeah, that looks good.
Aper also has an app you can use with your robot. Now, it works just fine without the app, but I had absolutely no issues pairing with it.
And if I want to, I can even do this and turn it myself to make it pick up something I want it to.
Within 24 hours, I can't believe how much stuff this robot picked up.
Oh my gosh. Look at all that. That's all the stuff that would have been in this pool.
That basket, by the way, also has a chlorine dispenser inside it. And this robot won't get stuck on any shallow stairs or walls because it has these pillars that come down to protect it. Make sure you click the link in my description to check Aper out. If you use my code, they're offering 5% off both their official website and the Amazon store. If you have a pool and you get one of these robots, you're going to love it. With the deck finally covered in decking boards, I couldn't believe how awesome it looked. Just look at these pictures. It looks like an in-ground pool, and the deck is just massive. Keep in mind, this is what we started with. But even though it looks amazing, it's still not quite a luxury pool.
This is all bare bones. Now it's time for the fancy stuff.
Yep, I got this awesome music playing again, which means we're about to get some crazy stuff done. This structure we're building now is called a pergola. We think, we're not really sure what exactly it's called, but it's going to house our living room and kitchen.
Last pull for the pergola. Pergolo.
After we got the beams up, we can then start building the roof, and because it's all pool themed and nice looking, we made every rafter look like this.
Well, now I've got to build the handrail. So to do that, I'm going to cut holes in the deck, slide some 4x4s down, and lag bolt them to the side. All I got to do is that, like 30 more times.
The railing going up was a big deal because we were constantly worried about falling off. Also, if you notice the big tall poles in the middle, those are for the lights later on. Once all the poles are mounted, we then put the railing on.
All right, go ahead, dude. Let's see if it works. Nice work, dude. Nice work.
That looks really good.
Wow. All right, here's the crazy thing, guys. This pool is getting a kitchen. Right over there. It's gonna be insane.
Oh, and more than a kitchen, we desperately needed a real entrance. So Colby was going to work on that.
While Colby's working on the stairs, my job is to install all the electric stuff without causing a fire.
After I built the wall for the bar, I was able to install all the boxes for the plugs. Meanwhile, Colby was getting a plan together for a 12-foot staircase. Fun fact, while Colby was building the staircase, we were both really concerned about this pole being right in the middle of it, and we sat around for 10 minutes figuring out what to do, and then we realized we could just move it. Back at the pergola, I was running all the electric wire to power the outlets and the switches.
Wire time.
And with the stairs and electric finally done, we could put our siding on.
I just hope this sheet fits. If not, I'm quitting. I'm done. Well, what do you know? It actually fit perfectly. I'm just kidding. It didn't fit at all, and I cut that part out because I was totally bluffing. I can't quit at this point.
With the siding sheets around the backside of the pergola, now it was time to use the fence pickets to cover up the rest. We used fence pickets because they look really cool and they're cheap. I thought it would be really neat to have two different types of siding on this wall. Then to prepare the pergola for the roof,
Nice.
we added the next layer of boards, which was a pretty sketchy job. Then we tied it all down with brackets, and to make matters worse, it was raining. After we tied it up with a bunch of those, then we were ready for the roof.
Okay, got it. It's all you.
This is especially scary because if one of us slipped and dropped the sheet into the pool, it would cut right through the liner and this whole project would be over. While I was doing this, I was pretty stressed, but now that I'm watching it, it's actually kind of relaxing.
Well guys, I'm soaking wet and freezing, but we did it. Now that this roof is on, we can finish everything underneath it.
And unfortunately for Colby, that means making more cabinets.
I have built thousands of cabinets, and there is no end in sight. In the next video, I'm going to be building cabinets in there too. More cabinets.
The thing you gotta know about Colby is he doesn't like building cabinets, but man, he's good at it, and he can do it fast. By the time me and my dad got done painting the railing, Colby was already done. With all of them. You're a cabinet freak, man. While we were installing the cabinets, our dad painted the front of the pergola, as well as the front of the bar. And man, it looks so much better. And earlier I was too busy talking about Colby. Look how good the railing looks.
Yeah, this railing looks insane.
The next day, Colby and I finished it off by running cable through it.
Yeah, we've done a lot of painting, and I'm covered.
Once all the black was painted, everything really started to come together. It reminded me of those tiki bars you see on vacation. There was just one big thing we had to get done. We had to stain the entire deck.
Looks like tomato soup.
Kind of does.
Not only does this stain look amazing, but supposedly it's going to protect the deck for up to 6 years from the sun and water. The next and last thing to paint was that back wall over there. We didn't want it black because that would be too much black, and we definitely didn't want it white. So we took a risk on this gray-green, and it worked out really well. Then it was time to turn our focus towards the cabinets and countertops. Outdoor countertops are great because you have a lot of options. Granite, concrete, tile, it all works. But granite would be $3,000 and concrete would be cheap and easy to make, but it's super heavy. In fact, if we did our countertops in concrete, they would weigh over 3,000 pounds, which is like parking a small car on the sketchiest part of the deck. So we were able to make wooden frames with plywood that we then coated in cement board, where we could then coat that in tile. These countertops actually ended up being really cheap. We already factored in the price of wood because we got it with the cabinet stuff. And with the tile only being $200, we're looking at just over $300 for all of this. And it could be because I'm biased now, but I think these look way better than concrete and granite. Right below the countertops, however, our cabinets needed some love. I know I said we were done painting, but we had to paint these black to match the pergola. And now they were in desperate need of doors. Again though, I love outdoor kitchens because you can get away with a lot that you can't in a house.
Right now, these are just sheets of plywood, but in a couple minutes, they're gonna be cabinet doors.
Instead of doing anything fancy for our doors, we literally just cut treated plywood, put hinges on it, and painted it. This is how we made those cabinets super cheap. And every single drawer is just fake to further save on cost. And you know what? It actually turned out really, really nice. We did all of our trim the same way, just painted leftover plywood. Alright, now it's finally time to install this massive sink I bought on Facebook for only $130. Alright, and that's pretty crazy. We also finally put our refrigerator in. We bought this on Facebook for $250. Then I got this awesome outdoor couch for $400 brand new. It's a couch! Yeah, I was pretty excited. Then because, you know, we had to, we installed a TV that we picked up for $100 on Facebook. The last thing we had to do was put up the lights, which I've been waiting for the entire time. I gotta say, I had no idea that an above ground pool could be this beautiful. And with it all done, there was only one thing left to do.
I'm coming in.
Well guys, we turned an ugly dirt hill that otherwise would have been nothing into a beautiful luxury pool. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you consider subscribing, but either way, we'll see you in the next video. All done.